Hi guys, it's Jeff at Slavens Racing. This video is about my latest build. This is a 2023 KTM 300 XCW. This is going to be for myself, and the build has begun. You can see I've already torn everything down, at least most of it. Heads off, throttle body, foot pegs, forks. It's going to get a new shock as well. And triple clamps, and a whole bunch of stuff. I'm going to load this one up. Like I said, this is going to be my own personal bike. This is not for a customer or anybody else. You can see over here I've got a bunch of goodies: pipe guard, pipe, skid plate, Mako 360 handlebar mounts. Rekluse clutch, oh, it's sitting up there. Some different levers. I'm going to try these, what are they called? Carbon air bars. Got the carbon on the inside. Anyhow, that's just going to be for a test. And I'm going to go back to the flex bars, combined with the Mako 360. Got bulletproof rear guards, fan kit, got ignition system, some SXS handguards, and a whole bunch of little goodies in there, some electronic pieces. This build's going to be different than ones I've done in the past. I'm really looking forward to this. It's going to have Slavens Mule Blackjack forks and Slavens Mule National Shock. Those two things completely changed this bike. I mean, for the good. Takes it from a wiggly wobbly stocker to a extremely precise woods weapon. So stay tuned for the next stage. All right, guys. So I'm getting close to being finished with this build. Worked on it for 2 days over the weekend, got 99% of it done. So let's start at this end here. I put on some Warp 9 wheel assemblies this year. Usually I run stock wheel assemblies. I've used the Warp 9s in the past with excellent luck. They work very well as far as being reliable. And I just wanted to go to a different colorway. This color doesn't really come out right in this video, but it's a magnesium color hub with a black rim. Went with some titanium bolts for the rear disc. I've got a IRC JX8 on there. That's definitely my go-to tire right at the moment. Stock gearing on front and rear. 1350. That's a Renthal alloy sprocket with titanium bolts. SXS chain guide by TM Designs. On this side I've got a zip tie racing shark fin. Now we handle lots of brands of shark fins. Our biggest seller by far is the bulletproof. I went with this. It's just a little bit lighter, and I just like the looks of it a little bit better. Here's the Big Daddy shock on here, the Slavens Mule National Shock by MX Tech. This is a proprietary item, only available through Slavens Racing. It's got my valving setup in it, which is very versatile. It works excellent on rocks and roots, whoops, tight stuff, fast stuff. It's a very versatile shock. It's amazing. Absolutely amazing. I can't say enough good about it. I've got some Fastway foot pegs on here, the Evo 4, I believe they're called. You'll notice I left a couple of the screws out here. I'm going to try that for a little bit this year. I always have a problem I have a problem sometimes, especially on the left side with my bad leg. It's a little bit lazy. And sometimes I can't get it off the peg in time to put it down, and then I fall over. So hopefully that will help with that, so my foot isn't so stuck on the peg. You can see here the hose on the top there, right here. That goes over, that goes up to the left-hand brake master cylinder, made by Rekluse. Got an FMF fatty pipe on there and an Eline carbon fiber pipe guard. I put a fan kit on it from TrailTech. Definitely the best fan kit on the market. You'll see two sensors right there. One's for the fan kit, and one is for my gauges up here, which I'll get to in a minute. I've got one of our proprietary Slavens Mule S3 heads on there. That has our own specs, not available anywhere else except for Slavens Racing. Put down some Samco hoses. I normally run orange ones. I thought I'd go to the black this year. The stock hoses are just very flimsy and prone to failure. I've seen too many of them split at a bad time. You know, when you're in a tough situation, your bike's running super hot, and then you have a hose failure on top of it. Not good. I put some P3 frame guards on here. I'm not going to run the plastic ones for now. And of course, bulletproof radiator guards. I don't ever ride any bike without those on there first. Excellent product. You can see down there I've got a skid plate, XP Extreme. That's going to go on after I do the clutch tomorrow. I'm just waiting for some lighter springs to come in for the clutch. And on the Rekluse clutches, I always use, for the two-stroke models, I use what they call the steel spring. So I use 6 steels. If you notice here, I've tucked in cable here for the left-hand rear brake, wires for the different gauges. I like everything as clean as possible. Now here's my favorite part of the whole bike, and that are these Slavens Mule Blackjack forks by MX Tech. These are totally the bomb. I'm completely blown away as to how well these work. I did some initial testing on them, but the end result, the final product, is incredible. They come with titanium bolts for the pinch bolts. There's titanium bolts here that came with it. I just haven't put them in yet because I'm going to be changing those fork guards out. Titanium bolts there. SXS handguards. I haven't tried these before, but I've been wanting to for a while. So I bolted a set of those up. And my main reason for wanting to go to a different handguard instead of a closed-end aluminum handguard is I've got my hands caught in those handguards several times over the last few years, and it puts me out of action for about a month to let my hand heal up. And so hopefully these will prevent that problem. They're really nice and clean the way they mount. I put a bomber handlebar switch on here. That's that switch right there. Red is to stop it, as a kill button, and the black is to start it. And it just frees up more space. So it just got me a little more real estate up here. Also over here is the map switch from KTM Hard Parts. These are the handlebars are Pro Taper. I believe they're called Carbon Pro. They've got carbon on the inside. And I don't know that I'm going to keep these on here. I plan to use, I've got a Mako 360 handlebar mount here, which really gives you a lot of comfort. And I plan on adding flex handlebars with the Mako 360. I'm just waiting for those guys to send me a new set. They've got some kind of updated bars coming out, and Supposedly they're on the way for me to test. You can see there, that's the left-hand rear brake, which I absolutely love. Up here, I've got the extended headlight knob, on-off switch knob, so I can get to it easily. And then my control panel up here. So on the right here, I have a temperature gauge. It also has a clock in it. And I like that because when I'm testing, I want to make sure that the engine is running at the proper temperature. I don't want it too cold, too hot. And then on this side, this is also got a clock in it, but this is a tach and hour meter. So I don't really use the hour meter, I use the tach part of it. So use the tach and then the temperature. So that's my control panel up here, guys. I've got a mount for my phone, Quadlock. We sell those also. And then I just made this little cable guide here. They're sending me, XC Gear is sending me a cable guide, a prototype to try. This side, let's see. I put one of our TPS guards on there. Also put one of our idle screws in. This cover I modified a little bit to allow it to flow better. Up front here, I've got an oversized brake. So you can see that black mount here from Galfer. That allows you to run a larger disc. So it's 10 millimeters larger than the stock one. And you're probably thinking, well, my brake's strong enough. Well, what this does is it gives it a much better feel. It's stronger, but you don't have to pull as much on the lever, and the lever just has a better feel. You can tell better when the tire is about to lock up on you. I mean, I love them. I've got them on all my bikes. I've also got the Eline carbon fiber fork guards on here. And I don't have the Eline stickers on those guards or the pipe guard because tight-ass Ronnie over there hasn't given me any free product to try, so I'm not running his stickers. Up here, I've got the G-Rips. These are a product from one of my employees, Rick Emerson, great guy. These are the open-ended ODI grips. All right, guys, I think that's about it. Oh, so you're seeing what looks like the stock ECU. Actually, that's a Kuber. I'll be running a Get a little bit farther down the road here. I've got to do some testing now. I've got 3 ECUs to test that I want to test without the Get injector relocation kit. So I haven't installed that yet. And I'm just testing these ECUs. And I'll give you reports on that as well. I think that's about all to tell you for now, guys. After I get it wrapped up with different bodywork and graphics, I'll do kind of a final wrap on it. I'm going to show you here, I put wheel weights on both ends. It's just nice when you're going down dirt roads to not have a bike where the wheels are hopping up and down. Especially if you have to hop on some pavement. Oh, that's right, I've got an arc front brake lever on here. I put that on there mainly because they're unbreakable. And since I don't have the full wrap handguards, I thought, they might get damaged. The stock ones might. But it's coming out real clean. Over here for a second. You can see I've got all the wiring, the different things that I've added for the fan and different harnesses all cleanly wrapped up there. All right, guys, when I get it completely done, I'll do a final wrap on this, and then I'll do a test video on it, a ride video. So stay tuned. All right, guys, the build is done, and I like this color combination and the graphics the best out of all the bikes I've ever built. I think this is by far the best build I've ever done. It's the best handling bike, runs extremely well. The suspension components are absolutely amazing. I can't say enough good about Jeremy's work over there at MX Tech. He and I have been friends for over 30 years. We've worked together on a lot of projects. I used to help him out in his younger days, but then you know, he came on strong as he matured and learned more, and now his suspension knowledge is way beyond mine. I can't say enough about Jeremy. He's a great guy, and he is extremely knowledgeable and bright about suspension. And the National Shock and the Blackjack forks with my valving setups are amazing in the rocks and the roots. They're not wobbly and wiggly. This bike is extremely precise. It's like a scalpel, you know, it's very precise, and works well on the whoops, works well everywhere. It blows me away every time I ride it. All right, so on the back here, well, let's just go with the graphics here. So I changed these shrouds to black and gray. So underneath where it says Slavens there is actually gray. And then you can see the black here and up here. And then the black plastic is actually gray. It's what's called Nardo gray. And Nardo gray is a color developed by the Audi automotive group for their cars. And it's become very popular in the motorcycle world, at least for us in the dirt bike world. And so I thought I'd give it a shot this time and build a bike that looks a little bit different. And then Jeff at FF there, the graphics dude, there's his logo. He does excellent work. These graphics went on very nicely, although I absolutely hate installing graphics. I'd rather be punched in the nose than put on graphics, but I did it. And I want to show you these hubs again. Maybe they'll look a little bit better in this light. They're really cool looking. Everybody that has seen this really likes these hubs. And we've got some of these being built for inventory, so they'll be on our site very soon. I've got the black plastic swing arm guards on there. I had a gray one on there. I just didn't like it because it didn't match anything else. And let me see, I put on our Slavens Mule fuel tap. Of course, the TPS cover there. And the Slavens easy idle screw. And let me tell you a little bit about that. So when we first made those, we made them out of aluminum. And some customers they didn't grease them. And they had problems with them seizing into the body. Had quite a few guys do that actually. So we've changed them into stainless steel. We've got the only stainless steel one on the market. There's some other, all the rest of them are either aluminum, or I think there's one out there that's just regular mild steel. On the back, I've got a JX8 IRC, definitely my favorite tire, as I mentioned before. On the front, the IRC VX40, which I only have a few miles on, but it worked very well on the miles that I did ride it. I just need to get it in some more diverse terrain before I do an actual review on it. I put these ProTech fork guards on here because, you know, they wrap around a lot farther, and these forks are very pricey, and I wanted to protect that nice coating on there. It's called a DLC hard coating. Makes the forks real slippery, you know, makes them go in and out real easily. And as I mentioned before, I've got this oversized front brake kit on here, and I can't say enough good about those. A couple of my buddies are using them now and absolutely love them. And I originally started out on my 500 because, you know, it's a big pig and It's hard to slow down compared to a 300. And before I put it on, I thought, well, that's going to make the front brake too touchy, and I'm not sure if I'm going to like it, yada, yada, yada. Well, actually, it makes it less touchy. It's much easier to modulate. It's much easier to feel what the front tire is doing. It's much easier to feel that point right before they lock up, but yet it's got more power, and it requires less finger pressure. Up here, I've added this here, little new light from, it says Baja Designs there. They make the actual light. Motominded makes the assembly with the bezel part here and all the correct connectors, so it's just a plug and play, goes right on. And then if you need to adjust it, you just grab it like that and adjust it. You don't have to mess with a screw or take the headlight off or anything. And we sell these with the mask. This part's called the mask, or without. You can buy just this center section here, depending on what model bike you have or however you want to get it. They are difficult to get right now. Supply issue with Baja Designs. But, and they're not a huge output light. I think they're, don't quote me on this, but I think they're 2600 lumens, which is not, a big powerful light, but it's about 1,000 times better than the Stalker. And I'm not a night rider guy. I just want a light that I can see well to get home. If there's a problem on the trail, say maybe your bike breaks, your buddy bike's break, or somebody gets hurt and you're out past dark when you didn't intend to be. In that situation, I want to have a decent light to get me home, and this is well beyond decent. And the other thing I really like about it is it's not heavy. It's very lightweight. I think it's maybe even lighter than the stock one. So those real high output ones, we sell a bunch of them. Some of them are pretty heavy, and they're bulky on the back side, which means they tend to interfere with the wiring and stuff. The Lexon triple clamps, I don't know if I explained it before earlier in this video, but they haven't made the top ones yet for me, so I'm using the top there. The bottom ones, I can't use the stock ones because the fork tubes are bigger. These are 49 millimeter. And the combination of that larger tube and the different materials, plus the Kashima coating on these forks, makes them, it's really hard to describe. They're more compliant. They really absorb things better, but yet they're more precise. Like they're more rigid. So they've just got this magic flex characteristic to them, to where they're not too stiff, they're not too rigid, but yet they really absorb everything. It's crazy. And of course, that's a combination of everything else. The tubing that's on the lower tubes as well, the DLC coating, as well as the valving setup, the spring setup. It all goes together as a combination. But let me tell you a second about the Kashima coating. So this color means it's Kashima. And Kashima coating was developed by a company in Japan called Miyake. I believe it's spelled M-I-Y-A-K-I. And they invented Kashima coating. And the coatings, Kashima coating is actually an extremely hard anodized. So you can get lots of different hard anodized coatings in the U.S., but none like this, because it's much harder and it has like a film of lubricant in it. It's like a molecular lubrication in it. If you want to know more about it, go to their website, the Miyake Corporation, and it explains it on there way better than I can. But so the coating, it's really only needed on the inside to make the fork work better, to perform better, so that the tubes slide easier and don't stick. But they got to dip the whole thing, and so you get the coating on the inside and the outside. Well, the only advantage to it on the outside really is that it is harder. So in a tip over and stuff, it's less likely to get scratched, although it does still scratch. And they've got SKF dual compound fork seals, which are the best seals on the market. And then my valving. I've also got, you can see that little warp 9 thing right here. That just means I've got a, you can see the blue axle right there. It's a titanium axle. try to get this bike lighter than my previous bikes. I put on the carbon nut clutch cover. I really like those. I've had great luck with them. They're really tough. And very popular item for us. On the back, I've also got, you know, the titanium bolts here, as well as a titanium axle. I think maybe you can see it from the other side better. Yeah, you can see the blue axle there. It comes with the axle box and everything. And the chain, I just run the stock chains until they wear out. There's nothing wrong with the stock chain. And I run the stock gearing, 1350. Now some guys, I just read a build yesterday where, you know, they geared it down one tooth in the back. They went to a 51. I totally disagree with that. To me, that is totally the wrong way to go. It makes the gaps between the gears feel weird. And if it's not pulling well enough for you, then pump the motor up. Give it more horsepower. Don't gear the damn thing down. So, you know, I have a lot of engine builder friends. I've been in this business for over 50 years. I've built engines for over 30 years. I built engines for different factory teams: KTM, Husqvarna, Yamaha, Suzuki. So I've got a lot of engine builder friends, and they all agreed, you know, don't gear bikes down, pump up the motor, make them pull it, make it pull that stock gearing. Stock gearing is always great. Now, the only exception to that is like the XCs. They've got a really tall first gear. If you want to ride those on super tight terrain, you pretty much have to gear them down just a little. And I've got, you know, the P3 frame guard on here. And I took the stock guard and cut it down because you can see where my boot was rubbing on this brake master cylinder here. I didn't want to, you know, make a mess out of that, so I put that cover on there. Pretty much everything I touch on these bikes, I make sure that it fits perfectly and works perfectly. You know, I'm constantly remachining something, grinding on something, changing the fit just slightly so that it fits perfectly. I don't like stuff where I've got to force a bolt into a hole, or you know, when you tighten it down, it sets at some weird angle or whatever. That's not how I build bikes. I've been doing it forever, and I'm really picky about how everything fits. All right, guys, I think that's about it on this. I will be posting a ride video of this. You know, I used the GoPro for that, and so you can hear how it runs. The thing is very strong, very clean. And if, all the items that are on this bike, every single item on here will be listed below the video. So right below where the video is in the description section, if you click on, I think you have to click on more or something right there, and then it will open up a big box of links to every product on this bike. So if you want to, you know, look at them, research them a little on our website, get a little more information about the cost or application or whatever. So just look at that description area below the video, and we do that on every video that we produce. We put things down there. A lot of guys don't seem to know that that's there, and then they call us or email us and ask us about the, you know, how to find this product, but it's all on our video already. You just have to look a little bit farther. And let me see, one little thing here, S3 foot peg bolts that have nuts on them. They're stainless, they're much tougher than the stock ones and easier to operate. I hate those cotter pins on the stock ones. Oh, and I forgot these frame guards. We have those in stock as well. I said frame guards, graphic guards. So, you know, it sucks to put on nice new graphics and then the first time you ride it, your boot rubs them off or curls them up right there. And that prevents that. And I'll show you on this side. It's actually a little bigger on this side. If you have a National Shock on your bike, the reservoir is bigger, so you kind of have to take a Dremel or a porting tool or a file or whatever and trim this back right here to where it doesn't rub on the shock body, on the shock reservoir, excuse me. All right, guys, I'm sure that there's things that I've missed here, but if I did, I'll put them in the description. And it really helps us out if you like us on Facebook and YouTube and whatever it is on Instagram. All those things help us out a lot. I appreciate if you do that. But the main thing is get out and ride. Be a good trail ambassador. Be nice to the other people on the trail. If it's a multi-use trail, they have just as much right to it as you do. They're taxpayers. And so, especially if they have a dog with them or if they're on a horse, stop and shut off your motor. Talk to them, ask them what's going to work best for them. Do they want you to allow them to walk past them or whatever the situation is? But be very kind to other trail users. It does no good to give them an attitude. You don't like it when they give you an attitude, so even if they seem a little crusty, still try to put on your smiley face and be nice to them. But the most important thing, guys, is get out and do some throttle therapy. Tread some tires and have some fun. That's all for now.